I've got my foundation on and now I'm going to use my concealers. I use pretty much the Lisa Eldridge method of having light to medium coverage foundation over my face and then putting the heavier coverage just where I need it if I have any spots or scars or dark circles. So I do have just like a couple of old pimple spots and like a burst capillary, I think, on my chin, which I conceal. And I usually use a really heavy, really densely pigmented concealer in these areas just so I can kind of dot it over just where I need it and then be done with it. And for my under eyes, I like to use also pretty densely pigmented concealers. I like to put it just along the tear trowel here, just to conceal any kind of darkness that I might have and make me look a bit more awakened. There are two concealers that I go between for my chin. So I have the Dermacolor Camouflage Cream, which is fairly popular for using for covering up tattoos. That's the kind of level of coverage you get from it. I find that it can be a bit dry and hard during the winter months to get out, and it can also melt a little bit in the summer months, but otherwise it's a really nice formula. And the other one that I only just recently bought, which I'm still, I don't know which one I like more at this stage, I'm still kind of experimenting with this one, is Kevin, oh god, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. This one. Which is a really creamy, so this is a lot creamier. This is a lot creamier and a lot more liquid, whereas this one is a lot more hard and firm. Alright, so I'm going to start with concealing just this little burst capillary here. And honestly, like, the foundation has covered up most of it, but I usually just put a little bit of concealer on top just in case. As you can see, this one is quite firm. Now, and I just kind of press on top, and it will need a couple of layers for that to build up enough. So I feel like this one does need a couple of layers to build up, but I feel like it is very buildable. You can put one layer on top and it's fine, whereas the Kevin, I should have learned how you say his name. Whereas a Sensual Skin Enhancer, I feel like you can put one down and have a lot of coverage, but if you need to build up on it, it is hard to layer it on itself. Okay, so that's that one, and then Sensual Skin Enhancer. I'm gonna put that over a couple of pimples here. Not pimples, like scars from pimples. Because they pink. So that is how I conceal my chin. As I said before, I'm not sure which one I like the most. I've got different properties. Each day I just kind of decide which one I'm going to reach for. And for under the eyes, I also have two that I really like. I feel like I'm indecisive when it comes to concealers. One of them that I've used for probably like 2 years, 3 years, is the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. And I literally bought this tube like 3 years ago, and I use it nearly every day. Well, I did use it nearly every day until about 2 months ago when I started using the NYX one. But anyway, this tube isn't even empty yet, and I've used it for so long, and I've used so much of it. I think just because it's so pigmented, you just use the tiniest amount, and it lasts for so long, so I really like this one. And recently I started using the NYX Gotcha Covered concealer as well, which is also a really nice under eye one. And this one is probably a little bit too light for my skin. It is a shade lighter, whereas this one is pretty much matching my skin. So the way that I pick between these is usually how bright I want my under eye area to go, how much I'm going into like contouring and highlighting that day. So I'll put one on each eye so you can see the differences. For the concealer brushes, I just use the Delium Tools ones. This is the 937, which is a fairly wide brush, so I find it pretty easy just to kind of pat over the chin area, and then I use a slightly smaller brush, the 936, for under the eyes. Sorry, I keep dropping the brush. Okay, so let's start with the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless. So the way I do it is, it doesn't look too bad right now because I've got the foundation on, but the way that I do it is kind of in that area there. I also like to go just up into that inner corner a little bit. that's pretty much it for how I conceal my eyes. You see a little bit of difference between the two. Now for the NYX Got You Covered, I'll put it on this eye. So they're both very pigmented and they're both very creamy. Blend out really well. Yeah. Keep calling this a beauty blender, but it's actually the Real Technique sponge because it's like $8 or something. It's way cheaper. Anyway, so I've got a damp one of these with the pointy end, and I usually start by, oh, I can see my foundation settled in there. I'll get that out. I usually go into the corner and kind of pat that, and then just kind of pat under the eye. So this is to remove if I've got any excess product and to kind of help blend it out so it's not like a clear line where the concealer starts and where, you know, the concealer ends. I do this eye too. Especially with the lighter one, I feel like I need to do this so that it doesn't look as crazy. So the other thing that I'm noticing now about the differences between these is the NYX one is a little bit matter, and then the Tarte one is a bit more dewy and reflective, which sounds nice, but I feel like I need to mattify it so it looks like the rest of my skin. So I will set them now with powder so you can see the difference between the two then. Also, I've just noticed that my studio lights are totally brighter on that side than they are on this side, which might kind of throw things off. See if I can adjust it. Okay, cool. In terms of setting powders, again, like I've never used one and been like, wow, this is so much better than every other setting powder I've ever used. This is all I have to use. I've never used one and been like, oh, this is absolutely horrible. What am I doing? So I guess that's good that I've never used a bad one, but so it also means that I have a favorite that I can like ultimately recommend over anything else. So right now I'm using an Australian brand, Face of Australia, and it is called Translucent Loose Powder. So I usually go for a translucent powder, and I find the loose powders easier to apply as well, just because you just dip your brush in. It has like a little sieve thing. And then to make sure I don't have too much powder, I usually get the lid and just kind of go like this to remove any excess powder. And I just kind of push it into the under eye concealer. And this helps to set it so that it lasts a little bit longer. It takes away that shine from the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and it also stops it from settling into lines as much because it just stops it from moving around. It sets it in place, as the name suggests. I also put this over my chin, and for all of them I kind of push it in. Then if I feel like I'm a bit too shiny in any places because of my moisturizer or because of my foundation or anything, I'll just put a little bit of powder over that as well. Especially in these lights, everything looks shinier in these lights. Alright, cool. So those are my 4 favorite concealers. If you have a concealer that you are passionately in love with, please let me know what it is in the comments and let me know why you love it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.